Being one of the most beloved families in animation, The Simpsons have been on the air far longer than most other shows. So it shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone that they're also regularly given the traditional holiday special. We've already covered some of our favorite Treehouse of Horror moments, but what about the Christmas season? In a time of goodwill towards others and giving more than you receive, what Simpsons holiday moments really get us into the Christmas spirit the most? I'm Kyle with Wicked Binge, and these are the best Simpsons Christmas moments.
Well, there's some you don't see every Christmas.
For this list, we'll be discussing what we consider the most memorable and heartwarming Simpsons Christmas moments. We'll be ranking them based on how it impacts the family and how memorable or criminally underrated they were to the fanbase. Number 5. Mr. Plow. Yeah, we can hear some of you groaning already, but hear us out. This episode gave us more than a catchy song to annoy our friends and family with. It was a great example as to why the holiday episodes of The Simpsons are something to look forward to. Homer is known for buying into schemes and caving under pressure. He's easily swayed, and buying a plow on his salary was not the best call. But Homer held out and made it work, which is what makes his character so charming. This episode showed some of his better traits, with him thriving on not only being successful, but in the true spirit of Christmas, gaining happiness from helping others.
But Homer is a real hero.
When Homer gets some competition in the form of his longtime friend Barney taking up the title of Plow King, Homer feels understandably upset. He was overcome with not only betrayal, but defeat, realizing he couldn't compete with the plow that Barney came into ownership of. The rivalry leads Homer to become desperate, and he pretends to be someone wealthy trapped outside of town on Widow's Peak. After Barney is stranded with no one able to reach him, Homer uses his plow to find his friend, risking almost plummeting to his death on the narrow roads.
You saved my life, and I'm not gonna forget it.
Barney was able to be rescued successfully by Homer, but a quick heat wave put them both out of business and reverted their lives back to normal. Still, Homer keeps his Mr. Plow jacket as a memento. Number 4. Sold Out. This was not only a great Christmas episode discussing materialism, but a great commentary on how sponsored information can influence people. When Springfield Elementary is bankrupt, they're sold out to a toy company who uses the children as data to create a new lovable toy in time for the Christmas season. The result is a pretty terrifying robot known as Funzo, along with the slogan, "If you don't have Funzo, you're nothing."
Funzo! If you don't have Funzo, you're nothing.
The Simpsons has been known to take its fair share of jabs at the education system, the business world, politics, and other such areas of chaos. During this special, they took a swing at the craze Christmas shoppers go through trying to find the perfect gift. Nobody seemed to care that the toy was the result of monitoring school children, leading to the Simpson family having to take care of destroying the Funzos themselves.
I'm very mad at you.
It wouldn't do anything about the unethical spying and data gathering, but they did what they were able to make a stand. Number 3. Snow does not cover everything. The episode begins as one would expect, with Homer insisting they wait until Christmas Eve to shop for gifts, and he and Marge fighting the crowds. Or sort of fighting, if you count pretending to be a cashier in order to get the toys someone else hunted down before running away with them.
Out, but I just...
Register 9 is now closed.
As it continues, Bart is seen showing Lisa his plan for getting up early and getting a head start on opening gifts, chugging down enough water to make him have to wake up early and use the bathroom. Unfortunately, things don't typically work out well for Bart, even when it seems foolproof on paper. This is one of those times. When Bart begins to play with the small remote-controlled fire engine, he accidentally starts a fire, burning down their fake tree and turning it into a pile of melted plastic. That consumes all the toys and other gifts around it.
Snow covers all. Pure white snow.
Bart desperately tries to hide his mistake, burying the pile in the snow and then telling his family that they were robbed. Now, the episode has a lot of relatable moments that show off why the Simpsons are such a beloved family. We get a sneaky Bart who is able to learn from his mistakes, a dotting Marge who hides all of the alarm clocks to spend family time together, a buzzed Homer who tries to fight Barney for pointing out his house is on TV, and a caring town that tries to band together to help. And we even get to see Barney as the PLOW King, which is a fun throwback. Of course, it isn't all good, with the town turning on the Simpsons once they realize that there was no robbery. Though they do eventually get over their anger by taking all of the Simpsons' possessions as punishment, the sudden loss is quickly forgotten as the family makes a game of chasing one another around the home for a rag that was left behind, highlighting one of the greatest things about this family. Though they may confront trouble and hardship time and time again, they always find a way to lift each other up and seek out the best parts of life. At the end of the day, they at least have one another to fall back on. Number 2. Bart caught shoplifting. When Bart becomes invested in trying to impress some older boys and obtain a game he had been wanting, he ends up being exposed as a thief. In his defense, who doesn't want some of these sweet Nintendo reference games? Making people angry, such as the security guard, the onlookers at the store, and his father was one thing, but Bart became regretful of his actions when he saw how they affected Marge.
Mom, I'm really sorry.
We've established in our videos covering not only The Simpsons, but cartoon moms in general, that Marge is one of the best examples of a parent and spouse. She defends Bart and his antics whenever she can, and makes it clear she believes firmly he isn't a bad kid deep down. Seeing the evidence playing out on screen, Marge lost trust in him and essentially shut down, not sure what to do as far as punishment. Bart does learn his lesson and reaches out to his mother to let her know he isn't a lost cause, surprising her with a picture to replace the ruined image of him in their family portrait.
This is the best present a mother could get.
The moment is heartwarming and reminds us that Marge is a mother that brings out the best in her children, and that her support means the world to them, even for someone like Bart, who's usually shown to be void of remorse. Number 1. Getting Santa's Little Helper. We couldn't help but place this last one as it had the most lasting impact on the show. After Bart makes the bad call to get a tattoo, thinking his mom will be impressed, the family loses the money they saved for Christmas to get it removed. The ordeal leads to Homer following Barney's advice to become a mall Santa in order to cover the holiday cost. But the payoff, like with most customer service jobs, doesn't give what's fair, and Homer is left to figure out another plan at the last minute.
This can be the miracle that saves the Simpsons Christmas.
The desperation leads Homer and Bart to the dog races, putting their money on Santa's Little Helper, believing it's a sign from above since Homer is still in the Santa suit. Of course, as Homer's luck normally goes, Santa's Little Helper doesn't win the race. They're left with nothing to show for their efforts and are faced with the reality they can't afford any gifts. Scoring the parking lot for a discarded winning ticket, they find that Santa's Little Helper's owner is unhappy with getting another loss and shoos the canine away, leading the dog to jump into Homer's arms. Bart quickly pleads with his dad for them to keep the dog, and it leads to a sweet moment where Homer insists that the dog was a loser, softening when the dog licks him affectionately, and Homer declares him a Simpson.
A Simpson.
Though Santa's Little Helper doesn't win the race, he does win a new loving home and saves the holiday. The family is delighted to have him and celebrates by gathering together, singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, even with Selma, Patty, and Grandpa Abe Simpson in attendance. The whole episode was not only sweet and sentimental, displaying the struggle families can face during the holiday season, it was also the first official episode of The Simpsons that aired. It set the groundwork for another 30 seasons and counting of laughs and heartache that we've come to expect from the family, and Santa's Little Helper is still seen as a part of that legacy. But what do you think? What are the most memorable Simpsons Christmas moments? Let us know in the comment section below. And don't forget to hit that notification bell and binge our Good to Evil playlist, where we break down the morality of the characters in your favorite shows, cartoons, and movies. But most importantly, have a Merry Christmas.